Batman's got his problems. Big, big problems. Here's your look at the Spin Master Batman. Moto-Tank Bane versus Batman. Face off against Bane with Batman and the Moto-Tank, only at Walmart. This 4-inch action figure and vehicle set has everything you need to play right out of the box. Before we have a look at the Moto-Tank, I figured we would first have a look at both Bane and Batman, the included figures in this set. I'm going to take my tape measure and we're going to measure off just how big these stand by first taking the tape measure right to the very top of Batman and stopping it right there. The included Batman, which is, by the way, an exclusive to the set, stands 5.1 inches in height. Switching that over to centimeters, and you're looking at the figure being 13 centimeters exactly. Let's switch that back over to inches. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with Bane. Now, I don't need a tape measure to tell you that Bane's going to be a lot taller than Batman, but just how much taller? Let's take that tape measure again. The very top of Bane's head, you're looking at the figure being 5.2 or 5.25 inches in height. Switching that then again over to centimeters, then Bane stands impressively at 13.3, so about 13.5 centimeters tall. For some size comparisons, we can bring in one of the other Batmans that we looked at just recently, actually, with the Bat-Tech lineup, also from Spin Master Toys. And again, a big thank you to Spin Master for providing all those Bat-Tech Batman figures that we looked at in that review, and also the Moto-Tank set of Batman and Bane that we're looking at in this review. But you can see, though, that the Batmans do share the same bodies. And the only thing that then does get changed is the brand new introduction of real nice ice blue that they've used for the gauntlets, the shoulders, and the front torso of Batman's body. Not counting the Moto-Tank vehicle, Batman also comes included with a couple of accessories. Let's have a look at those right now. These accessories may seem somewhat familiar to you, as these were the ones that also came included with those Bat-Tech Batman figures we looked at earlier, like this one right here. Though the ones that came included with the Bat-Tech, for example, let's just grab one of those right here so you can see the difference between the two, had the more speckling motif. And using a more translucent plastic. I guess these still are translucent plastic, but a much more murkier plastic. You almost not see my hand waving behind it. So he comes with this, kind of a rocket launcher gun, I suppose. And then he also comes with one accessory that I believe came included with Robin. And it's a pair of bat wings. I suppose I don't need to put bat in front of every single thing that I'm saying for the accessories, but yeah, they're a pair of wings that you can attach to the Batman's body. Something I didn't mention, though, when we looked at Robin was the fact there's a little bit of thruster that they sculpted on the bottom of it. I thought that's a nice little touch. But go ahead and just take the back, and you'll see there's a big, large peg. Just go ahead and take the figure and locate it on the back of the figure's body. There's a hole. You can then fit the wings onto that. Gives you a little bit of something extra to display with the figure. And then from there, of course, you can take the Gatling gun. And we'll just fit that into Batman's hands. I think he's more than equipped to battle Bane. Well, though on second thought, looking at the size of Bane, maybe he may need more firepower than just that. Go ahead and take this out of his hands. We'll go ahead and remove then the wings. There we go. Put that to the side. And let's get a closer look at Batman. Now, I did say earlier that this one was a reuse of technically the Bat-Tech Batman that we looked at from the Bat-Tech lineup. How many more times am I going to say Bat-Tech? It does seem like the bodies are the same. The only thing that is different, of course, is bringing in a different coat of paint. Gone away are the little tech kind of panel lining there, the little circuit panel lining, in favor of more straight, stark black. Of course, it's not all black. You've got the nice bright blue that's used for the gauntlets, the shoulders, the front of his torso, the utility belt. Surprisingly enough, not in his boots. I would have thought that they would have carried over that color motif down below here as well, but they've decided instead just to sculpt and paint those all in black. Nice head sculpt on Batman again. If you like the more armored look of Batman, then this really fits the bill properly. He does also have a cape, too, which I know I already showed you when we put the back wing piece on the back of his torso. Flip that up, you can see the paintwork is really nice on this. Sculpt good, really, really good on this, too. I like the detailing that they did to the armor. I mean, these are smaller figures, of course, geared towards kids, but it's not to say that you still can't appreciate the work that they put into it. Sculpting in the legs, sculpting in the armor and the body, and in the arms as well. Really a nice looking Batman. For the figure's articulation, the head rotates all the way around. It hinges up, down, and somewhat back and forth. You can bring the arms also out. at about a 90-degree angle bend. Looks like he's wanting to give Bane a hug. I probably would resist doing that, Batman, just FYI. Arms rotate all the way around, though. You can hinge the elbow and rotate the forearm back and forth. There seems to be like a stopping point, though. Like it twists so far one way, and then when you twist it to the other, it seems like there's a real stopping point right there, as if it's telling you no go, no go. There's a swivel, no swivel on the waist. It's all one sculpted piece, but you can split the legs out. You can bring the legs forward and back. There's a swivel 3/4 of the way up the thigh. You can rotate the legs all the way around. Single hinge on the knee. You can also rotate the lower leg as well. Though a exclusive paint job, it's not a Batman that's exclusive necessarily to the set by mold. It's a mold that we have gotten before. Let's now move on over to Bane. For a second, I almost wanted to beeline Bane and go right to the Moto-Tank, but Bane is almost my favorite thing that's part of this set. I really like the vehicle, but I'm really liking this Bane. Let's go ahead and look at him right now. He's big, he's bulky, and one good thing is he's posable as well. Normally, a figure like this, you would just expect the figure to be pre-molded in some of the areas where it doesn't have articulation, but happy to report here that Bane does have full posability going for him. First, looking at his face, or masked face at least, a classic-looking Bane. Touches of detail I really appreciate is the fact that he even sculpted in the ears that's underneath his mask, and even a zipper, though they didn't paint the zipper in. A little bit of green there, but I could probably paint right over that. Just a little bit of, I guess, leftover venom, as you can see, that's pumping into his veins via the arm tubes and also the tube that runs into his back. It'd be hard-pressed to find a really more classic-looking Bane than this one. This really does, like, check all those boxes off. The only thing that's really missing on this Bane is some additional painted veins. I guess that probably was a little bit too excessive if this was going to be a kid's Bane. Now, also, Spin Master is releasing a set of Batman, a Bat Cycle, and a Clayface. I would be very interested in picking that setup as well. Again, they're geared towards kids, but it's not to say that you can't appreciate a really neat-looking Bane, and this definitely looks like a really neat-looking Bane. The hose, by the way, is molded to his body, so it's not a separate piece, nor is the same for the back here. And it doesn't seem like he can remove his backpack either. These tanks of venom are permanently there. No ways to actually remove that. For the figure's articulation, though, again, the head rotates all the way around. Ball joint happening there. Of course, as you're rotating the head, the hosing is going to be broken up a little bit. You may want to then just have it facing forward like this all the time, so Batman's, at least Bane's, tube looks like it's consistently straight like this. He does have no waist swivel again, like the Batman, but he does have big, large arms, quite substantially large arms. Look at the size of these things. They do hinge out and they stop to about there. Just the size of his shoulders probably restrict a lot of that. You can rotate the arms all the way around. He has a hinge in the elbow, which also allows the forearms to rotate back and forth. And he doesn't have any wrist articulation either. So get him in a nice mauling pose. Now the legs, happy to report, do split out. You can bring the legs forward and back, swivel all the way on the top cut of the thigh, about 3/4 of the way up the thigh. He has surprisingly no articulation in the knees. I was kind of surprised to see that. I just assumed the figure would have had it. So yeah, he limits a little bit of it, but still, when you factor in the fact that all the rest of the figure has the posability, nice sculpted boots too. I mean, get a look at these. Like I said, it's a nice looking Bane. Really, really cool. If I was a kid, and sometimes I feel like I have the mindset of a child, I would still be so on board the idea of getting a Bane like this when I was a kid. Even though Bane really wouldn't have existed at the time that I was a kid, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Okay, so let's move on over to the Moto-Tank. This kind of looks like a moving chainsaw blade. In a way, it does. Also kind of looks like the undertreading of a sneaker. It carries the same color scheme as the Batman. So again, here's the Batman right here, so you can see. Same similar black, and then same similar ice blue. We'll just put the Batman down here for a second. He does, of course, pilot the Moto-Tank. It's part motorcycle and clearly part tank, and that's obviously where they got the name from. I like that it has this nice large battering ram on the front, and it looks like a couple of Gatling guns there as well, none of which are painted. The coloring is really kept just to the black, the blue, and then what little bit of silver there is on the motor end of things. And then, of course, you've got the bat emblem there on the side. It's a really neat looking, I don't want to say motorcycle, because it's really not a motorcycle. It's more closer to a tank than anything else. Nice little touch also is the fact that they put the eyes on the bat face on the top there. It's generally a light feeling vehicle, but you can go ahead then and take Batman. Just put it down for a second. Oh, by the way, it also does roll. It would be a disappointing vehicle, I feel, if it didn't roll. It does have wheels both on the front and the back and the front. But let's go ahead and take Batman here, bend his legs, bring his arms forward. Basically, just want to have him straddling the front of the bike. Bring this cape back so it just gets out of the way of things. And then from there, you can go ahead and take his hands and fit them onto the handlebars, one on either side. They're a little harder to get on there, granted. There we go, there's one. And do the exact same thing on the other side. There we go. And then we've got Batman sitting inside the Moto-Tank. Sculpting also that they also put in here too is some front tires. At least it looks like it's front tires, although it doesn't make much sense. Then it would have a tank tread down below here. Also inside, which I probably should have showed you first before putting Batman inside the seat, there's a little control pad console, and there's a bat emblem on the inside there as well. So like I said, it's a nice sized vehicle. Not super heavy, it's generally quite light. I would imagine it's hollow, but it rolls really, really well, and it's got some interesting design elements to it. Whether it would be able to stand a test against Bane would be questionable. I mean, Bane's a pretty strong guy, but I definitely think that Batman picked the right vehicle for the job. If anything's going to be plowing down Bane, if Bane is certainly in the way of things, I don't know if I would be going with a traditional bat cycle. You may want to be upgrading it to something closer to being a tank. And I definitely think that Spin Master delivers a formidable vehicle, I think, for battling the likes of Bane. Now, if you check the packaging here that comes included with the Moto-Tank, you'll see both the Cape Crusader and the Boy Wonder sporting the brand new Bat-Tech armor. You know, I gotta say, that looks really good as the way they've drawn that on the back of the packaging. And then if from there you wander your eyes to the far left of the packaging, not only do you see a drawn Moto-Tank, but then just behind that, you also see the Batmobile that Spin Master had released earlier. Something that we did actually have a look at here on this channel if you wanted to check that out. The Moto-Tank is an interesting looking vehicle. I'm not really sure what speed it would be able to get. You would imagine with tank treads, it would be a slow moving vehicle. But of course, if you're going to be taking a vehicle out of the Batcave to battle Bane, I think that's a pretty good vehicle to go with. I'm surprised it doesn't have any working gimmicks to it, like firing missiles or something like that. But I guess just the design of it is more than enough. It is, like I said, a really neat looking vehicle. But then you have a look at what I feel is the star of this set, and that's the classic looking Bane. A classic looking Bane, and boy does he ever look nice. Big, giant gorilla arms, slightly smaller legs, and surprisingly a lot of posability going for him. Spin Master has also released a Batman. I believe he came with a bat cycle, but he did also come included with a Clayface. I'm really looking forward to picking up that set to get my hands on that Clayface to go along with the bigger sized Bane that comes included with this set. Overall, I'm really happy with this set, but I feel like my love for this set is more kind of wandering over to the likes of Bane. Even though the Moto-Tank is nice, Moto-Tank, M-O-T-O tank, that Bane is fantastic. A big thank you to the folks over at Spin Master that provided this sample of the Moto-Tank Batman vs. Bane, or was it Bane vs. Batman? If you have picked up this set for yourself, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of it. And if you would be interested in other oversized, slightly larger figures for Spin Master release. I mean, of course, they, like I said, released the Clayface. But what other larger sized figures would you like to see them release? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you guys are new here and enjoying all the content you're seeing, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Turn, of course, the bell notification on. And keep your peepers peeled because there will be, in fact, more reviews lined up and coming your way. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.